go in here and share my screen. Just that one. Higher resolution. Okay, cool. You guys should be able to see my screen now.
Yep.
Cool. Turn that F11 full screen so you guys don't see all my porn links in the top. Okay.
Aww.
I meant
Porn
to.
links.
Yeah, I meant to create this document ahead of time, but I was busy cleaning the house, so I was running clean house mission in my own life. Server issues. Server.
Operation organization.
Yeah, I got none. This is why I was an NCO and not an officer. We'll call this squad projects. Personal projects. And way down we'll put like server slash what am I thinking? Server slash operation. Cool. Excellent. So you guys should be able to edit that document that I sent out. And this is kind of how I just want to format what we're thinking about here, what we're doing. Where's my folded list? So don't want this to take too long. First annual FoddSquad, not annual, first ever FoddSquad Battle Staff meeting, but basically just want to have this be a place where we can bring up any issues or concerns that might be having, or if people would like to, dude, I get to see Cam's face. What's up, man? Or if anyone would like to talk about stuff that they want to work on, that sort of stuff. So it's both positive and negative. And so with that, I'd like to start off with just asking, anyone seen any issues up in the community or on the Discord that you want to bring forward? Maybe we can spitball some ideas for how to fix any of those issues. I'll say for right now, I don't really see much. I've noticed that in the memes channel, people have been getting a little bit spicier. I think that we've been doing a good job of tamping that down, reminding people what not to do. There's a couple of people who do it more often than others, but I don't think anyone's at the point now where they've become so disruptive that we need to really start talking about removing them or anything. Anyone else have any issues that they've been seeing?
My only concern is Badger, really. Obviously, he throws up things, and then obviously people don't sign up, and I feel like he takes it a little bit too personally sometimes, when obviously I think it's just a case of people
Cam, I
busy
think
in
you're
that period.
talking, but I can't hear you.
I can hear.
Hello?
Oh.
That must be on your side, Ray. I can hear you, Cam.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I'm just obviously, and then I'm just concerned. Obviously, he's not taking it too personally, and it's just a case of people not being available or other things.
I agree. I think that watching from afar, I think that he is just somebody who's like a little bit lonely, and doesn't necessarily have he used to be part of a core group like Toasted and those guys. But at some point, there was some sort of schism, and I think at that point, I don't know, we might be kind of the only group that he interacts with on a regular basis, and so I think that he gets a little bit frustrated. I think he wants to take a bigger role, but hasn't really. One, he doesn't have a ton of time, and two, hasn't really shown the, I guess, maturity. I mean, the guy's like 19, so I think that that's kind of nothing against anyone in here who's younger, but I think that just goes that he's like kind of. He sees people like me and Ray and you, Cam, that like make things and people show up to, and I think that he just assumes that that's just going to be for everyone. But really, like, one, there's a lot of maturity and there's a lot of time you have to put into making that happen for people to trust that it's going to work out, if that makes sense. But also, he's very impatient, extremely impatient, and so I think that all plays into it. Just like a little bit of. And I mean this in not a super mean way, but a little bit of selfishness. He's just very self-centered in the way that he interacts with people on the community, and I think that kind of comes through as being a little bit puts people out a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So to me that's I think that's just one of those issues that's going to sort itself out. I think that he'll either I don't know what Doreen's doing. It sounds like he's doing dishes.
Oh, sorry, I was about to mute myself.
Okay. I think that he's either going to work his way through it and come out the other side better, or he'll burn out. But I don't think there's really anything that we need to do at a particular moment. I've tried to support him as much as I can in DM just to make him, there's been times when he's been really low, but it's not. I think one of the things that I've learned since running this community is that none of us are mental health professionals, and none of us have the ability to, like, we can be there for one another and try to support one another, but people who consistently have really, really tough times and are consistently sort of on the edge, like, those people need to find help outside of the community. We can't do that for them. We can be there for them in, every once in a while, but we can't say people. We're not a suicide hotline. We're not mental health professionals. So to me, as we grow this community, we're gonna attract more and more people that are kind of in that position of kind of either being at a really, really low, dangerous place, or playing that sort of person online to get attention. And I think that we can't, like, we gotta be better arbiters overall of, like, supporting people without necessarily making this community their only support system, if that makes sense. Like, they're going to need something more than just a Discord. As much as we want to be there for people, as much as we sell ourselves as, like, being there for one another, it still is a community online that we can't fix their personal life issues. Like, only they can do that. And so I think
there's only so much we can do. We can support the person to our abilities, but we're not superhumans. There's a point where they'll have to get support from somewhere else, somebody more qualified. So it's about making the effort to try to help them within our capacities as people.
And I think supporting them outside of those dangerous moments is also the best thing that we can do, in that, like, playing games with people and responding to them when they're just chatting about their lives and providing some sort of, like, meaningful interaction, I think is the best thing that we can do. But I think that overall my thought process over the last couple of years has changed on that, in that I've noticed that you kind of, when you run a community that's meant to be supportive, you kind of attract a certain type of person that is very destructive for the rest of the community as well, where it's very much like they use it as a huge crutch, and they kind of come into the community expecting everyone to do everything for them. And I don't think that's good for us overall. I think that reduces our ability to give energy to everyone else, and it just soaks all of the attention of people, especially the mods and the people who are more more active. So if anyone disagrees with that, I'm totally open to talking about that. But to me, that's kind of the direction we need to find a good balance of that. We can't be the safety net for every single person all the time. Otherwise, we'll have either we'll burn out, we'll alienate a bunch of people from the server if they go in. It's just a huge drama factory, in general, of people struggling, or there's a good possibility that if we continue to do that, eventually we'll fail, and we'll get a message from somebody's loved one saying, "Hey, thanks for trying," but they committed suicide yesterday. Or I don't know how prepared any of us are to deal with that situation. If you're on a voice chat with somebody and that happens, like, I would never ask that of any of you guys, because that's something that is, like, real deal, like, life-changing trauma that I don't want anyone to deal with.
Yeah.
So I just got to remember that there's only so much you can do, and if that's how it ends up, there's just fate at that point. Can't do everything. You can't save everybody, but you can only try your best and try to make sure you don't have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
I was in an online community that lost someone to suicide, and it was like a matter of weeks, and the community just kind of evaporated into nothing because, like, we were just completely unprepared for it, and it doesn't end well.
Okay, cool. I think we're kind of the same mind of that. Like I said, if anyone doesn't feel okay speaking up here, if they want to talk about it privately, but I think that's for us just a better route to take, because I think we've burned a couple people out already within the team. That I've noticed that people have sort of backed away, because it is exhausting. Like, I know that I've backed away a little bit in trying to engage with that. Like, I'll engage here or there, but like I put out a while ago, like, it's really hard if everyone expects individual attention versus being part of a group that's having a group conversation. I like to think of like general chat as not being a point-to-point one-on-one chat. People can DM for that. Like to me, it's like, what are we talking about today as a group? It's like when you walk up at lunch break in high school, like, what are these guys talking about? If I walk in and say, hey, by the way, here's all the horrible things that are happening to me, like that's going to be weird to that group, and I think that would be weird overall in these sorts of situations. But I don't at the same time want to alienate people who are having hard times, because that is part of why people are here, is that we do actually care about each other, and I feel that way. But that can only go so far. So unless anyone else has any disagreement on that topic, I think that we're taking a good route, but just wanted to say it because this is a good opportunity to discuss that particular issue, because it's come up a few times already. There's been a couple of people I've already DM'd with that were like, no kidding, suicidal. And for me, like, I supported them, but like I definitely was like, I'm not a mental health professional. I can't save you. I'm not there. I don't know your life. I don't know the people you know. I don't know what you're going through actually. All I can do is listen to what you say, but I can't be there for you all the time. I got a family. I got a job. I run this community, and individually, I think that's how I'd expect kind of anyone who runs into that situation here is like, do what you can to listen to them, but like at the same time, try to point them towards hotlines, or professionals. It's a little bit tough if people are outside of the U.S. because I don't know what the number is in the UK or what the number is in Australia or South Africa or wherever these people are at. But trying to just say like, hey, I think you should see professional help is, I think, the best thing. And it's not, I think our community's done a good job of making it well known that that's totally acceptable.
Yeah, I think the best we can do is just obviously be in here for a little bit, obviously within reason, and then signpost, and then at that point, there's not much more you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And if you guys see that happening, like in some of the chats or whatever, I just ask that you DM them and just say, hey, it seems like you're having a hard time, and maybe like try to, if you have an opportunity, like I said, you guys are all volunteering time to the community, so I totally respect anyone who doesn't have time to do this stuff. But if you do see that and you have a moment, just like shoot them a DM to sort of like move it off of the public channels and just say, hey, it seems like you're having a really hard time. Have you considered maybe talking to someone professionally? There's Panic is another person who's obviously gone through that a lot recently, and trying to support him. I think we took a pretty good route with that, because obviously he's struggling with some health issues that obviously none of us can influence. I think we've done a good job of supporting him where we can, recommending that he seek professional help when he can, but at the same time just realizing that we can't fix it. Okay, and I'll note that on this document, I'm not going to put anyone's individual names, just because I don't want to put that out for posterity, like we're talking, because we're not talking bad about any of these people. It's just us discussing issues within it, and anything that I share here is going to stay within this battle staff, as I figure that's the people who actually need to know it. Okay, any other issues that you guys are tracking in the server, Discord, anything like that? It could be mundane things, or it could be big things. I'm good with anything.
The only thing I've heard of is the Western Sahara server's been having a couple of issues recently. But
Yeah.
I
So
don't know what's causing that.
that's my bad. They upgraded the back end and they restarted everyone's individual server slices, and so I haven't actually gone and turned that back on. I was out of the house all day yesterday, and so I think they did that on Friday. So I'll get that running after this meeting. That's pretty easy to fix. I can't spell Sahara for anything. Do you think we should keep it on Western Sahara? Are we getting good enough use out of it?
I mean, we're getting fairly frequent DROs going on with it. Well, reasonably so. Obviously, we're not the biggest community in the world. There's only a few of us play sort of DROs fairly regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would say moderate to slightly below moderate, but I would say that at the moment there's not really many other uses for it. So I'd say it's probably best left on Sahara, unless anyone else has got any better ideas for use of it. I would say just leave it on Sahara.
Cool. I see soul typing. Jack, you got anything? Sorry, Jack Ray, something.
I'll answer to both. Yeah, I was just saying that the Sahara fan base seems small but really dedicated. So it would make sense to keep it up because they really, really enjoy that.
Let's see what Sarah seems to be most in demand. Other than excellent. So I totally agree. So my my future for this, and I kind of commented on it before, I have a intention of giving some people access to the back end, people who are used to logging into servers, because it is a virtual desktop, is what it actually is, where you're actually logging in and making changes on the desktop itself. So I need to do just a little more work. Maybe I'll have some time to work on that today. Where basically there will be different launchers. So you just double click a launcher if we want it to be the SOG server, and it will open up that server. Or you close that and open up the Western Sahara. Eventually, I can make it to where there's multiple server shards is the wrong word, but multiple servers can run it simultaneously. But that's a little bit more in depth than I have the knowledge on yet. So I'm going to give that backend access to a couple people so that we have a little bit more coverage when it comes to stuff being down, or if somebody wants to request moving it to that other thing. And eventually we can really have as many versions of that server as we want. We could, like, my intention when we get in towards September and I'm working on Malden Overrun again, and really like Overrun in general, is to actually make a server that's running that 24/7 that's public. And so that that'll be run on that server as well, just another launcher. But that's something that I'll talk on the admin channel about when I get that a little bit closer. It's just not right now. It's only set up in a way that I know how to run it, and I'd like to maybe put together a little quick explainer video or something like that, and just post it in the admin channel before I give people access. But I agree with what you guys are saying. I think Sahara's good. I think having SOG ready to be able to launch is really good as well. And then I think it's fun for when we do like side ops. Like I'm trying to do I'm trying to get that what's it called, that sort of SCP oriented thing working. We haven't got it working yet. There seems to be some issues, but I'm trying to port it to another couple of maps so that people don't need to have Livonia to play it. And I've been running it on that server as well, as a way to basically make it to where the server blend server that we have is a lot harder to change over and a lot harder to add mods and stuff to. And so it's for little things like this, I'd prefer to use the Karma, or the AWN server that we have. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna put that under servers, not suggestions, but I was gonna put that Western Sahara and SOG are the most valuable on the secondary server. Cool. You guys know of any maps that we'd like to have added? I think we've done a pretty good job of scouring for some of the best ones. The DRO style, we've got some liberations. We've got a bunch of different stuff on the various servers that I think are good. I do know that we need to get the Western Sahara lib working. I might need some help with that. Maybe hop in here and have somebody help me, because I don't really know what's going wrong with that, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to do just one by one person. Okay, I'm gonna add a thing about I'll fill this out later, but mental health, suicide issues, and I'll add some stuff on there when we get done with this, but basically what we talked about. Server station. I do want to get a couple other servers going on that, because I'm trying to make it. We have a huge amount of power on this server that we got from Karmika, and I'm trying to make sure we utilize more of it. So I don't think I've done this poll yet, but I'm going to. Maybe I did a while ago about which servers people would like to see. I think Ground Branch was one of the ones that came up the most. I'll have to dig that up. But I think Ground Branch was one of the ones, especially with these custom game modes. It'd be good to have a server for that. So kind of my thought process is having a secondary Arma server being the primary. And then having, let's see, we'll go different servers. So we'll have an Arma server. And then we'll have I think Ground Branch would be good. They don't seem like they're too difficult to run. There's not a whole lot of configuration you have to do on it. It seems rather simple, and just restart it and bring it up. And we could probably run, I'd say probably 8 people on that. We'll say 8 to 10 on that, and that will be a public server probably that we can consider unless it becomes an issue. And then I was thinking about kind of I'll call it a wildcard server, but a server for something else that kind of rotates through things. So like a good option for that would be like maybe we do a SWAT 4 server. I don't know if you can run that on a dedicated server. But SWAT 4, what's that? ERF or whatever it is, but
First responders.
First responders, yeah, first responders. I think that could be a fun one. We talk all the time about like OG Ghost Recons could be a good one.
Raven Shield. You need to talk to Constantine about that, but
that's exactly who I was going to talk to. Yeah, I think that could be good. So I think some of those ones would be kind of fun. Obviously, right now we're running a Minecraft server on there as well. I don't know if anyone's still playing that though. Has anyone logged into that recently? Because I haven't.
Code A and I think a couple other people are like low profile about it, but I've seen people visiting it.
Okay, yeah, because you can't make those private, right? So I see people log in and out, but some of the names people have on Minecraft are so different. I don't know.
Last time I logged in to get footage for that video I was making, there was I know Slug had done a load of work on his house.
Who was?
Slug.
Oh, okay.
Slug Fox. I noticed he'd done some stuff on his house.
Okay, cool. So it looks like there's still some people playing. So I just want to make sure that we're not we're not putting any resources towards stuff that's not getting used, if that makes sense. Anyone else have any good ideas for? Do you think it's worth putting an Insurgency Sandstorm server up?
Wouldn't know. But...
I would probably put obviously there's ones that you're talking about now which are like more high priority ones which you're interested in running. I think there's like some that might be like, as you said, if we've got a load of processing power to spare, you might as well throw some servers up if you've got the time and the space spare for like. So Insurgency Sandstorm, you might get some traffic if you just have like a normal public one, which might draw more people into the group. But I think obviously there's not a huge demand for it from the community itself currently.
Speaking of which, do we want Minecraft to be on a wildcard rotation? Because
it's really not right now.
Yeah, right now it's like a dedicated thing rather than a one-off thing.
Yeah, we'll put that as what we're currently running because we're not hurting for server resources at all right now. We're not even close. So Minecraft doesn't take that much unless we're all on doing crazy things, in which case it still barely takes anything. It's a pretty beefy server, so I kind of am to the point where I'd like to push this thing until we actually start seeing issues. Like we have enough people on multiple servers to where we actually see it not running well, and then at that point we can back off. So when I put wildcard, it doesn't necessarily have to be one of these. It could be any of these, and then we'll see as we extend out from there. Anyone else have any suggestions of games? I put maybe Insurgency, the original Insurgency, or even the source mod or something like that could be fun. I know some people really like the OG Insurgency.
Floating around ideas right now, we being me and Clem, but we were thinking Skyrim together at some point.
Like, oh yeah,
I don't have
special
edition.
Server run?
Yeah, yes, I've looked into it, and I'm not. You can set up dedicated servers for that, and there's documentation. So I think that would be really cool. We could come up with a mod list to put together that is light, and we can all agree on and do that.
Okay. Do you think I can not that I'm assigning any work, but do you think that maybe that could be something that you can look into?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. If it comes to that, again, I need to pick up the. I only have the old original 2011 version right now, but eventually I'm planning to pick it up, and I will definitely be okay with helping out with that.
Along with that, that Ravenfield multiplayer mod. I don't know if you guys ever played Ravenfield. It's actually super fun.
Way back in the day when it was still free and in like open beta.
It's worth the money in my opinion because the mods you can do for it. I've honestly been trying to figure out a way to make videos on it because sometimes the experiences you can get in that are so good. Like there's this World War I mod where I was playing and it's got a World War I map and they've got artillery, like all these different mods that I put in there. And I was kind of thinking of doing like videos where I basically curate a mod list that fits really well with the themes. It's like World War One, and then just do a straight gameplay video, and then say, hey, if you want the mod list, go to my website, and here's there'll be downloads for the full mod list. And if we could do that multiplayer, that would be, I think, even better. So I would like to try to get that working. That's something that I can take on, looking into. Because I think that we could have a good time with that. Once again, it would be something that we just bring up when we wanted to use it. But I don't, and once again, I don't know if that's a dedicated server thing or if that's something that would be a peer-to-peer. So I'll look into that.
If there's any interest in doing Reforger, I'm running the JTF2 server, which you guys are welcome to use.
Excellent. Yeah. So you're helping with that, because I haven't seen you with the JTS2 stuff recently, so I didn't know if you're still doing stuff with them.
Well, I had family in town, and then
Mhm.
I've been my girl just graduated with her first master's degree, and just a lot going on, so I've been able to. But I'm actually the one hosting their server.
Okay. Awesome. And are you hosting that on dedicated, or do you rent that?
I rent that
Through who?
G Portal.
So I've heard G Portal and Nitrado are both supposed to be better now with those mod issues that we were having before.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues with them. I'm running so I have like 80 sllots on G Portal.
Jesus.
And I'm running half of them on Rust right now and half of them on Reforger. So I can literally toss up any game. I can just split servers and toss up multiple games with them. It's pretty sweet.
Sorry, I heard my kids running around jumping. Awesome, dude. Rust. Oh my god, I wish that was something that fit our community and that we had enough people playing, because I love that game when you have a private group.
Yeah, we're
I
doing
don't
it
like
private.
public ones. Yeah.
It was fun.
What's that?
Sorry. I'm going to be changing the topic, so you guys go ahead.
I'm going to put that as a wildcard one, just because I actually like the idea of maybe running a small one, like, just a few people with some specific rules, and then speeding up the XP and whatnot, because that's always fun.
I think Ready or Not might be a good wild card, sir. I'm not sure how big of a presence it has here just because of the current price, but I think especially as it grows a bit more, it's probably gonna get a bigger presence.
I think you're probably right. I honestly, I think Ready or Not is actually drawing a lot of attention in the tactical space in a way that, like,
Oh yeah,
I'll say
it's been.
I'm not a big fan of the project overall. I think
really?
I've made that pretty apparent. Yeah, whatever. I don't think that the way that they did that whole thing on launch put a bad taste in my mouth. So it's hard, even though it's come. I talked about that during the tier list video, and that, like, I don't want to put it as like an S tier game, but it is pretty much the spiritual successor of SWAT 4 at this point. But some of the people who are super into Ready or Not, I don't really like. So it's hard to, like, pull
it's also
apart
gotten
that grilled
attention
cheese
on,
sandwich.
like, conventional people, like big people. So yeah, I think it's a good entry point, but currently it's pretty pricey for what it gives. So
yeah,
it's something to think about, but not important in my opinion.
I wasn't aware that it ran on a server system. I thought it was all peer-to-peer.
I think
I had no idea, but if it can be run on a dedicated server, that would be cool.
Yeah, something to maybe think about what we could do. Speaking of, since we brought up Rust, is maybe not Rust itself, but maybe we could as like a wild card put up like monthly, like 1 month spurts. Put like server events on this survival game or that survival game.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just like anything that's easy to pick up and easy to put down again. Like we could have that be maybe separate from the wildcard server, which would be like planned events, but just have like every month have a different rotation. It could be, I don't know, like a special mod running on Arma or something.
Yeah, I think I think Arma Survival or whatever it is would be a good one. There's an Arma 2 version of that, but I think they got an Arma 3 version working. Cool. Obviously, I think Daisy's always one of the ones that's, like, just close enough to having interest, but it never really sticks around. So I think that if we made it a more concentrated thing, like a dedicated, hey, we're just gonna play, for this event, and you have X amount of time, I think that'd be good. Okay. So I got Rust, DayZ, Arma Survival. I think something like what was that one that we played? Started with a V. It's like the Viking one.
Valheim.
Valheim, I think, is always kind of kicking around. Like people kind of play that a little bit in the back end. I think those sorts of games.
Yeah, I could definitely get behind Valheim.
So what I would like to do, and I've kind of had this idea in the back of my head for a long time, is making a oh cool, dedicated server. Thanks. Awesome, thanks for that. I think that I would like how do I say this? I think that everyone's noticed I've been trying to get more community input into the way that like what we're doing rather than it all coming from my head. I think the bottleneck is still at me because I'll like say put a poll out for things and like we would do one like this. Like every month we'd say what game are we going to play next month and we'd have people vote for it, right? But the problem is that based upon that vote, you have to wait for the vote to finish and then take certain actions. And I've been, overloading myself in general since I started the community on stuff. And I think that tends to be the things that fall in the waste bin when I don't have enough time is, hey, we talked about running monthly events, but I can't set it up. So I think if I can get other people to help me set up the servers for these sorts of things and like actually be able to be there and plug in the mods, run it, see what's working, what's not. So it doesn't take 15 hours for me to try to get set up every month because I just don't have that time. But I would love to do that to where we can have more community involvement of saying every month we're going to play a different survival game. What is it going to be this month? Put up the poll, interpret the results, and then go from there setting it up. If I could get help doing that, I think it'd be a really good thing for the community. I think it'd be a lot of fun for us individually as well.
Well, a good solution to that might be that when you do the poll, put all the options on there and then see what gets the most votes and what gets the least votes. As long as something doesn't get 0 votes, you run it and you just run it in order of what's most popular. So the top result is the first month, the second result's the second month, and things like that. And then that way you have you can plan ahead a little bit instead of having to run a poll month by month.
That makes sense.
That would make sense.
Like quarterly.
Do like
maybe?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna suggest put like a threshold. If something gets like less than 5 votes, it'll be again in the next vote, but we won't put it right into the rotation or something. Enter arbitrary number of votes.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good way to gauge interest might be using the photography channel to just post. If you're into something, post about it there, and then see how much interest it generates. Because I think anybody else who's interested in that might comment on it or it might draw interest. That would be a good way to sort of gauge, what to put on that poll, so to speak.
That makes sense. Like see what people are already playing.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we got some pretty good ideas for what to use the AWN server for. There's a lot of good games that we listed here. If you guys think of anything else, or obviously the people who are listening to the recording later, feel free to just go ahead and put them in Battle Staff. I'm kind of just want to use that channel as just a way for us to dump ideas and just talk about things. Because obviously we've got the admin channel for people who are admins and moderation and stuff like that, which is more focused on like actually problems. But I think that Battle Staff for me is just a way to like take every level of people who are trying to help out, whether that be Ray and Cam making ops, for Arma, or anyone who shows interest in actually stepping up and doing a little bit of work that kind of goes back into the community. I'm going to be inviting and disinviting people from there as that goes on. So it's a little bit more of like a first step towards being like, I guess, part of the crew. So I think if anyone else has an idea afterwards and for a game or something like that, feel free to just put it in there. Maybe I'll start a thread or something. What's your idea, Gus, for the photography channel? I'm interested.
So I kind of just feel like I've sort of hijacked that, and 50% of the time that channel's the Crusader Kings channel. Which, doesn't entirely feel like a misuse of that channel because I am sharing pictures and stuff, but
yeah.
It's so much different than what everybody else uses that channel for.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, people like Soul actually taking, gorgeous screenshots of games, and Ray's got a bunch of them in there too. And I don't know, maybe we need like a strategy game channel or something that's where my Crusader King stuff is a little more on topic and not completely different.
I personally like storytelling through still images, and so I think it's a wonderful addition to that channel in specific. I don't think it's overbearing at all. I think if you were to do that every hour or something, then yeah, that might get a little annoying. But the frequency right now isn't something that I'd say needs to be on a new channel. I think it's very refreshing to see not just oh, Souls 4K, amazingly beautiful Leonardo da Vinci shots, which are great to see, of course. But it's nice to just like almost have a story told to you that's ongoing through that channel. I think that's a perfectly okay use of that.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. That was it.
I was gonna say, if I may make a suggestion, as far as that goes, though, is it possible to create threads so that you have like you can literally like make your Crusader Kings storyline in a sub thread of that pictures channel? Would that be something that might be interesting?
Yeah, and I've actually had a thread when I was like on my first game. I had one going there, and then this one, the game I'm on now, I started making videos for, so I wasn't posting a lot of pictures, but then I started naming people after people in the FoddSquad, which immediately piqued a bunch of people's interest. So it kind of got out of hand at that point.
Yeah,
Well,
think
I feel
fun.
like it got a little out of hand, but I mean, if people disagree, then I can just be like, okay, if nobody else thinks this is out of hand, then I'll just keep doing what I've been doing.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's perfectly relevant, and I don't feel like it's crowding anything else out of the channel. So I wouldn't say it's a problem. And if it does start crowding other people, then yeah, just create a thread. We'll follow it from there. But
sure.
As it is now, it's fine.
I'll say I think the thread system is kind of crappy for that. And honestly, having seen the forum system that's coming, that's going to be the answer, I think, for us. Is finding a good a good way to organize a forum. So maybe we can do a gaming photography forum instead of a channel, to where we could maybe then have threads for specific games, something like that. Because if you look at the way the forums work, they stick around forever rather than threads where you got to go find the thread to join it. Nobody clicks the active threads button. Nobody seems to know where that button is. And so, like, for instance, when we did this AI art thing, which definitely took over Creative Division for a little bit, but when I started that thread, there's definitely people who don't know the thread is there, even if they would be interested in it, because they have to find it in the chat or go click the button at the very top that they're not paying attention to. So if we had I think a forum for that would be better, because then people can click on the forum and then they'll just see what's going on for what everyone's making. So we would then have a thread that's like, the Gus Dynasty Crusader Kings thread or something like that, and then people can come join it later. If you guys
that a lot.
I guess if you guys haven't seen the forum system is basically, it's a channel where there are only threads. So every forum post is essentially a thread. And then when you click on the main channel, it just shows you a listing of threads chronologically since last update. It's really basic, but I think it's the perfect sort of thing for this. So people don't just get spammed and then have to go back and try to find it.
I would say a strategy channel wouldn't necessarily be a terrible idea, because we don't really have one at the moment. So say I wanted to talk about the new Company of Heroes or something like that, I wouldn't really know where to put that one. And I think that World War III channel may not needed to be long of this world.
I think we kill that and we just add it to tactical games.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree, because I was expecting them to release that, because that used to be a big part of my content, and a lot of people who started here way back in the day came from there. But I think we kill that channel. We merge it into tactical shooters channel, and then we just let that be. Unless anyone has an issue. I think Thunder Tier 1 probably also the same thing, since it's now going more or less.
There's a Thunder Tier 1 channel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Goes to show how much it gets used. But yeah, that was another one I was thinking about. So we can clear out some of the channels and make space for a strategy channel if people feel that that's something that'd be good to have.
I would definitely be in favor of that. Speaking of, I bought Crusader Kings, but I have yet to really play it. So if anybody wants to like show me the ropes and do like a low multiplayer team, I'm definitely interested.
Awesome.
Because I love all the other Paradox games.
Maybe we could talk Dwarf Fortress in there, Fod.
Dwarf Fortress in strategy?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of strategy, right?
I agree. I think it's perfect. I mean, those are all different strategy games. I do love me some Dwarf Fortress. I haven't played for a little bit, but I feel like that's one of those games that you don't play for super long period of time. You like fits and spurts.
Yeah, you no life it for 2 weeks and then not play it again for a year.
Exactly. But yeah, Total War Games. Yeah, like Soul said, maintenance on merging channels. I think that's a constant battle that we're just gonna have to fight, is keep merging. Like 0 Hour Channel's another one that's perfect. Like when that game came out, we were all about it. We played all the time. I still like it a lot, so I don't want to stop playing it. But do we need a separate channel for it? There's not enough conversation that's specific to that. Whereas something like Ground Branch, there is a reason for that channel, in my opinion, because there are still people who are specifically interested in Ground Branch as a shooter.
Oh yeah.
And also, we can very easily overwhelm Tactical Shooter channel if we put too much. So I'm gonna say World War 3, 0 Hour, and Thunder Tier 1 channels into tactical shooters. Cool.
Talking about Thunder Tier 1, in terms of the server demands, it might be worth just throwing a Thunder Tier 1 server up anyway. Because, I mean, it doesn't get that much traffic, so there wouldn't be tons of people in there, so it probably wouldn't actually take any processing power much anyway, because it won't really be running much. But at least then you have your sort of name on the server browser banner on there, just in case.
Sounds good, Soul. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that honestly, like I'm you probably saw the video that came out yesterday, and I mean I have more that I paid someone to edit a huge long amount of gameplay. It was like 4 hours of gameplay, a bunch of missions. So I just had him chop them up, and so I'm just gonna be releasing those over time, filling them in here and there. I think that Thunder Tier 1 as a game has either an opportunity to die. It might just die out because they're not sending updates, or it might be one of those games like SWAT 4 or something like that, where it's because it's unique enough that nobody else is making a game like that. There might continue to be a sort of cult following, and no one. I'm gonna tell you right now, we would be well positioned to be a community to snag those people, because no one else is gonna do anything with that. It's going to be basically us if we want to put a server up, if we want to do that. If Aussie wanted to still put in time to make mods, like, because I think the mods are probably like SWAT 4. Mods are something that would keep that game alive and interesting for people. And if there was a couple communities that were actually playing with those mods, I think that would be. I do think that there's a real benefit there. So I appreciate that suggestion, Cam. I think that we should definitely put up a server at this point, just a vanilla 4-player co-op server. And then look and see if we can maybe expand that with mods or something like that. But maybe we do that for 3 to 6 months, and then if it hasn't gained traction, if it does end up becoming kind of an abandoned game, then we'll just move on from there. But I think there's still a lot of life left in that game because it is so unique, and so I don't want to abandon it entirely. And I think because we would be some of the only people still doing something with that, it would also help us because Purple Dog, the guy who created that, eventually got hired on. He's a communication manager for PUBG now. But I think that we would be well situated to have his ear, or the ear of anyone else who's still working on that project or is still gaining money from sales, in kind of promoting us as like the only people who are still getting them sales, because they still make money for every sale. So I think it's just not worth them putting all the time in the back end.
By the way, does SCP Pandemic need a dedicated server? Or does it support?
But
that might be something to put on a wildcard rotation or an event around October, along with Melbourne Overrun. I think we have a fair amount of people who at least have it, but not sure about playing it. But I remember at least Waksu is big on it. I mean, I have it. I just haven't downloaded it. So
yeah, I really like it. There's not enough people with access right now to really run a server, and I'm not sure what it is to run that. So I'll check in on that. But once it hits like an open beta or something like that, that's going to be a huge deal if we have a server and know how to run one already.
Yeah, I think it just needs to mature a bit. just judging by the SCP community in general being so big, it'll blow up at some point, and you just gotta time it to coincide with that blowing up.
Awesome. I think we've got a lot of really good ideas here. Let's see here. Just looking back over what we've already worked on. And like I said, you guys feel free to add stuff if you want to here to this. But I think that's a lot of good information. I think Ray, just so you know, I am still working on the Arma or not. I'm pretty excited about that. I've got about I think I got 3 of the infills set up. So what I'm doing is I'm individually adding the infills as like their own thing, but I think
that'll be really cool once finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Like basically every single one, like what you do is you go to either a waiting helicopter or an awaiting convoy, and once you've made your selection somewhere else, you get basically an add action scroll menu option to deploy to that. And once you do that, then it'll send you out, and then it just teleports all the players to either a landing zone where a helicopter flies off, or to a convoy that's like has its engines running, and then the engines turn off once they arrive. So it kind of gives you a sense of like, you don't have to ride in the convoy, you don't have to ride in the helicopter. You're not gonna get shot at by guys that you haven't cleared from another area. It's just literally like a 5-second TP.
Teleport and go. Yeah. That's perfect.
And so once I get all of those done, like I said, I'm kind of doing them bespoke for each one right now. Version 2, or if we do port it to another map, it'll be I'll come up with a better system. So like every single convoy one will just have one script that runs rather than having individualized scripts for each destination.
Sure.
And then the last thing I need to add is basically where it deletes all the people and objectives in an area if you've completed it, because right now I don't have that. So I need to figure out a better way to do that, because what that's going to mean is if you clear an area, you'll get the task will say up top that you completed, but if you go to that area, all the enemies are still there. So I just
they respawn or
no, like if you've saved it, like let's say you clear one area and then you save and you come back and load that map again, those people will be there again because everyone's there to start. So I need to find a way to basically just delete all the people, but not necessarily clear out the tasks.
Yeah, and then I think if we port it to another map, as far as on my end, I'd probably want to figure out, because Ready or Not has that system where there's one map, but you can select multiple different game modes. I think it would be cool if I could design multiple different scenarios that, of course, have an element of randomization, and then have those somehow get loaded in, like through a scenario selection. So a different scenario for, say, like barricaded versus hostage rescue. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I wonder how we do that. Yeah, it's something we got to think about, because actually I've got an idea on the back end we could talk about at some point. Basically, where the people are going to be the same there, but if it's a hostage rescue, but you have to select that probably beforehand in the mission select screen, like where everyone's loading into their slots. Go up to the parameters.
I see.
And if it's like hostage rescue, then it will spawn a hostage at a specific location, then do what needs to happen. So it won't be on the map itself. It'll have to be by scripts. But I think we could do something like that.
Yeah, that was one thing I'm thinking about. We can take this offline, but instead of having one big map with all of the missions on it, why not just have them all be separate and then you select it for mission select? It's an idea. But,
that's an idea. I like where we're going with this one for now. I think this actually will provide it's sort of like how Malden Overrun is like somewhat of a campaign. This Armor or Not thing is probably a 6 to 8 hour campaign. So I think that if we could deliver that and it's not super glitchy, then that's going to be a huge boon for us as a community. I think people will come in to ask about it, or because it's cool. I think that there's a pretty good chance that I can convince some folks to cover it on their content. I think overall, if we can nail this first one, I think that it would be sort of like how Malden Overrun has thousands of people playing it. You know, like it could be like that, and that could just be another feather in our cap for as a community.
Yeah, I think great idea.
Cool. Oh, I see. I was wondering why Bacon was posting the other one. Okay, cool. So I'm excited for that. I'm just gonna put that on squad projects as Arma or Not, and I'll type in some more notes later on that. Okay, I think we've done server issues, server suggestions. I think that's the only project that we're still currently have active. I need to update the Trello. I want to use that a little bit more. It's just tough because I can only access it from home, and once I get home, my kids like just jump on me all the time. But I can't think of any other projects that I know we've talked about a lot of stuff, but I don't think anything else is currently ongoing.
There's that trailer thing that I started working on.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time to finish.
Let's talk about that because I'm pretty excited about that. Hang on a second. I'm having some. So FoddSquad trailer. I really like that project so far. I don't know how to expand on that other than providing more content. I'm not sure if I'll be able to really add a bunch of editing to it. Maybe I can like edit a couple of the sections. But overall, I really like that idea because it uses all of the cool things from the FoddSquad, and I really like that. And if we could make a 1-minute version of it, that could actually be the trailer for the YouTube channel. And I think that would be really nice because right now I have no trailer on that YouTube channel, and I think if we could have something that was community made, I think that would be really cool. But I don't think we're gonna hit the September 15th deadline, to be honest. I think that would be really tough to get it done by then because that's only like 3 weeks from now, and maybe like 3.5 weeks from now. And I think that we've got other stuff that we're trying to do in between now and then. So maybe we should shoot a little farther afield for that, for a goal, or just say, hey, we'll get it done when we get it done. But I do like that idea. If it's okay with you guys, I'd like to share that in the Battle Staff channel. Maybe we can get a couple more eyes on it. And I do have that guy Spun or S-Pun. Who's in the Battle Staff channel, but he doesn't ever post. He's been doing some of the edits, like he did the edit on this Thunder Tier 1 video. He's a semi-professional editor, and what's nice is that I can exchange money for time with him. So if we get to a point where we just need somebody, we have the footage, we just need somebody to edit it together and slap it in there, I think that, I could put a little bit of squad funds towards getting that done, just having him edit it in there. But for now, I'd like to keep it as much as a squad project as possible. It's really cool. I really, when I was watching it, I was like at a big shit-eating grin on my face the whole time. So I think it's really cool. And when you guys do stuff like that, it's like really, I don't know, it makes me feel really special. I'll say that. I still have next to me from way back in the day. If those of you guys who have joined since then, you don't know, but I got a stream. The stream deck that I used for stream was a gift from the community, and I still have sitting right next to my computer on the wall. This note that came when it came from Amazon. It said, "Fodder, to show our appreciation to you on your birthday for all the awesome streams. Member of the FoddSquad want to wish you a happy birthday." And here's the individuals who gave to it: Down Dean, Wimpy Burger, Agro Ami, Point Shoot Action, Goats McTotes, Cataplexy, and Silo Cat. So those are people. So nice. That's like the original. That was like one of the original groups of people that started this server like 4 years ago, and almost none of them are still here, unfortunately. But it just goes to show that like that to me really means a lot. I'm gonna put that back up. Really means a lot to me. Not because it's money or because it's whatever, but when you guys should put time into stuff either for me or for the community, like. I don't know. It really means a lot because I put a lot of effort into this, and I'm hoping that it's valuable to people, and I think we've gotten pretty good feedback on that. But if it when I see other people engaging in that same way, like it like multiplies that joy, I guess. So it's like kind of a thanks, and also kind of if you guys want to keep doing that, that's okay. That'd be fine with me.
Okay.
So I'm going to say FoddSquad trailer, need more footage.
Getting a new PC soon, so I might be recording more, and I'll be able to send stuff.
You going to be able to fit anything else in your apartment? Your sparse-ass Spartan apartment you got?
Oh, yeah, I have plenty of space, so...
I know, I'm just joking. You look like Jack Reacher in your apartment. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Hey, what's up, Bacon? We've got I'm streaming it, but I also listed a sort of meeting minutes / notes thing in the. If you click on the meeting itself, you can click on that if you want to read what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I'm just on the phone right now because I'm walking my dog.
Walking your dog.
So, yeah, I can't really see the stream right now, but I'll be home. I'll be home soon.
You'll be able to catch up later if you need.
Yeah, I'm gonna post the recording. Cool. So that's Armor or Not. We talked about FoddSquad trailer. Any other squad projects that are worth talking about? I don't want to take up too much more people's time.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
one thing Ray and I are working on right now that you're probably going to enjoy. It's a very story-oriented Armor 3 mission for like 5 people plus a Zeus.
Yep.
And
It's different.
well, I can't really spoil it because you have to discover it. But I just want to let you know that there is something in the works right now from my end.
It's narrative based and like playing, almost like role playing. So I'll be playing a role. So it's a little different than what we normally do, but hopefully it's cool.
And that's how many people did you say? 4?
It's like 5 players plus Ray plus me as the Zeus. So that would be 7 total. You're going to have to find yourself some very good mates that you trust. The way I would describe it is action movie, but you're playing it live, kind of.
That sounds cool. Awesome. Well, I'm excited about that. I hadn't heard about that. Bringing the private stuff up. I like it. So I put that under server/operations. That's just like, or sorry, I should say server/operations. So yeah, definitely let me know more as that develops. That sounds cool. That sounds like an event in and of itself.
Doreen, you had something?
I was going to. It's less of a project and it's probably more under server of operations, but I was going to see if there was any. So obviously, a lot of time, life happens, and there's been quite a few weekends in the in the past where you were unable to make it on Saturdays, and I was considering if we might want to consider, even if you can't make it, we still want to keep like certain events going or offer events to keep it more as a community event, not just based around you. Obviously, when you're there, we're going to get more participation, but I think I think it would be good for the community to still try to play on Saturdays.
I'm 100% with you. So I'm in a couple other large communities. If you guys know, Rubik's Raptor, and then obviously Liru. If you're in their Discords, you'll see that even if they don't do an event, that they always have an op that happens every Saturday, regardless of what's going on. Now they're a huge community, so they've got each of them have probably more people to run them. But I would love to get to the point where we can say every Saturday afternoon, if you're EU, or morning if you're NA, we have somebody running something. I think that'd be really cool, even if it's just like an ad hoc Zeus event. And so I was kind of hoping to come up, and I meant to bring this up during the meeting, but I forgot. I was kind of hoping to come up with sort of a stable of folks that make missions and or Zeus, and then we could just sort of like create a calendar and say, okay, who wants to take this, who wants to take that, and then make sure that we have enough people to go around so that one person isn't having to come up with an op every week or something like that. I'd really like that idea. It takes a lot of pressure off of me because I like to do like at least one op a month, but between everything that's going on, I don't know if I could do much more than that. And so if we could do that, I think it'd be really, really good. I think it would be really good for the community. It would help create connections between individuals outside of just interacting with me and then interacting with someone else.
I think one op a month is definitely doable, at least for me, if I were to just do it alone. And I mean, we also have you naturally, and we have Cam. So I think, something like that where we rotate out, which ops we plan more in advance, which ops are going to run when. I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely like with my current relationship, I straight up told her like Saturday mornings is a no-go for me for dates and stuff. So like she knows from the beginning, like that's why like every time we don't play on Saturday, I'm like sad face. But I'm definitely, like I said, I already cleared that schedule every single week, so I'm more than willing to take part on that too. That's why I kind of brought it up. But I hate seeing like us not getting together because you're not there, and that's not a knock on you. I like this community, and I kind of miss it on Saturdays.
Well, here's what I'll say. Let's say that I will work on creating a system to organize that. It might be a separate, like where we have the squad calendar, we might have a separate calendar, or like a separate area where the bot can post, or maybe we'll just make like a Google calendar or something like that, and we'll just put down every single Saturday. We'll try to have an op, and we'll put that out once we're able to organize maybe the first month of it. Every Saturday we'll have some sort of op. We'll put some parameters on what's how much flexibility we have around mods and stuff like that, because that's one thing that makes it a little tough for me, is if Friday night I'm like scrambling to try to put a bunch of mods together, even if I'm not playing, that would be a little bit tough. So maybe we have some basic parameters of like, hey, here's the 3 mod lists you can use. Like it'd be like our regular mod list, maybe like a spooky mod list, and then like a Vietnam mod list or something like that. And then it's really easy for me to just switch it over. And then once we get that set up, we can start doing every Saturday. And then if we find that we have enough participation and enough people that are making stuff, for those that can't make it Saturday morning, maybe somebody else will want to start doing another time. Because that's usually what I see is once people get these systems going, there's like a main event, and then there's usually like a smaller side event, like on Tuesday nights, NA or something like that, for people who don't have the ability or desire to wake up stupid early on Saturdays. And so I think if we can do that, that would be really, really awesome. And I'm taking that as a note for me to get a system set up for that. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, maybe I can get something together and we can just start running those.
Well, every other Friday, I'm doing the campaign with Duck and his boys, which is obviously, I believe, is open for our boys as well. I know I don't advertise it as well in this one as I do with theirs, because usually I'm doing the missions, and then that's as far as my effort goes. But the good thing about that as well is because I'll do a 4-part campaign. And I'll do standalone missions. Is that I'm producing loads of these standalone missions. So I recently made like a load of Vietnam missions. That obviously end up, we will eventually maybe run them in standalone, but a lot of the time they're sort of sitting there on my hard drive not doing anything. So we can always throw some of these in as well, and they pretty much run themselves, but they're pretty quick and easy to get on.
Cool.
Awesome. I like that idea a lot. I definitely think that we should do that. I've had that bounce around in my head. I just need other people to be able to put in the work and take that on to run those. And sometimes it's hard for me, because for me, I never want to bring something up to you guys. Like I'll bring up a basic idea of like, hey, here's something I'd like to do. But after we initially talk about it, I usually like don't want to bring anything up until I have like a really like well-defined plan of action for it. And that's why a lot of stuff sort of dies on the vine, is because I just don't get around to it. But now that we've talked about it, I think this is, if there's interest, or there's enough interest, I already have ostensibly 3/4 people who say that they could do it, and I'm sure we could pick up at least a couple more. Then that would make it very, I guess, easy for us. And for me as a content creator, that makes my Saturday mornings very nice, and then I can choose to just basically say, here's the stream I'm running when I'm able to do it on Saturdays, and that would be really nice for me. A lot less work than having to set up the stream, make the thumbnails, create the idea, and also make the mission and organize it. So awesome. I like that idea a lot. Cool. So we're a double time. We just passed an hour, so I think we should probably start winding it down. Is there anything else big ticket that you guys feel that we should talk about here, or anything that's like smaller or like not really fully developed? We can of course just post about it either in this chat. I'm just gonna leave this channel up, so we'll just keep using the chat for future meetings as well, and this is where I'm gonna post the video and the link to this as well. But if you guys have additional ideas, we can start. What I'll do is probably start a thread specifically for this.
I mean, yeah, I'm running that Chinaris thing, Liberation, but not Liberation. I think that's my main rotation for the next few ops will be all based on that idea. I, of course, discuss different things like that Tanoa SF project a while back. Those right now I think are on the back burner. I need to be in a very specific mood to take that big of a scripting undertaking. But yeah, I have plenty of ideas, and if we were to do like a rotation on that, where I just do one idea on a scheduled time, I think that would be very manageable. We could brainstorm that further if needed.
Yeah, I still owe some ops too that we never got around to. So
yeah.
Well, like I said, you guys don't owe anything. If you guys feel like working on it, I do think if we create something like this, people are going to be accepting a level of responsibility, because if they say they're going to run an op on X Saturday, and then it doesn't develop, then that feels bad. Feels bad.jpg.
As long as you give me a way out if I get busy.
Yeah, I mean the main thing is
notify you in advance.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is we're going to need at least a few more days. And like I said, we could just create. I think what I would like to do is go and create some just basic Zeus like
backup ops, you mean?
Yeah, you will like there's already basically make a map on, or make a mission on each map that we like to play on, so like Takistan and all sort of stuff, where you have like a US Army base that already has helicopters and arsenals and everything created for you, and then it just has a couple Zeus slots, and then so those Zeuses can on the fly come up with they're raiding this, and I'm gonna put some bad guys over there.
So
and just
a Zeus template.
Yeah, just a Zeus template. The FoddSquad Zeus template is something that I think we need. I'm gonna actually write that down, because that's even beyond just this, it's gonna be useful.
And that way, it's a lot easier if something gets in the way. Yeah, to run something.
Yep.
Like I'll.
Sorry, I stepped on you there. What are you saying?
I was gonna say, like, I'll put it out right away as long as I know the evening before, so I can get up in time to put it together. I'll gladly be our emergency guy in case somebody has to bail because something happened. Like, I'll gladly step in on Saturday morning, and within an hour I can have a Zeus mission. I think I've got locations and shit mapped out on every map by now that I want to run ops on. So I'll gladly do that.
Awesome.
Well, I managed to turn around that what was it, 4th of July one, which I slapped together in like 30 minutes, primarily because what I had was I had a load of compositions of bases. Yeah. So I literally just grabbed all the compositions of bases, slapped it down, slapped a couple of hostages around. Jobs are good, compositions take a lot of the work out of this stuff. So if you make a composition for a FoddSquad base, you can pretty much just throw it wherever you want.
That's actually a really good idea, working on adding compositions and then having those all of us who would run Zeus for that, having those already downloaded, like maybe even creating a mod that you could download, or a set of compositions on the workshop that people could just pull down. So like a couple, like maybe like a US Army base, a USMC base, and then like a sort of like we did for the Shinaris Defense Force, where you're like sort of a former Soviet state, with AKs and not super advanced technology base, and then a bunch of enemy bases that would be like insurgent. I think that'd be really useful to have those. So if that's something that you want to make more of, Cam, and like share those, that'd be pretty freaking sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'll have a look, because I did the camp thing when we were doing Kingfisher the first time around. I made a load of terrorist camps and things like that and slapped around. So I'll have a look at doing something similar.
Okay. I missed a note. We were talking about, it was what you were talking about, Doreen. It was the op that you said you were going to run and didn't have a chance to.
Yeah, I remember when we did when you guys were supposed to save the president and you guys got gunned down by. Yeah, I still part 2 of that.
Okay.
I gotta do that.
So this remaining ops.
Because I think that's what gave me the idea about way back when.
I think that's mine, Fod.
Yeah.
Tanoa SF.
Oh, is that yours? Sorry, what was?
Pretty sure, unless Doreen had.
I also had Tanoa. Like the op I ran back then was Tanoa, and we were gonna do a part 2, but Fod was unable to play that day. Yeah, so I don't remember what happened.
I guess we'll call it Tanoa UW, conventional warfare.
I called it Tanoa SF for you, right? And then your Shinaris lib. I'm gonna call it a kickoff, because I think we should run a real lib campaign from that. But
yeah, I think I can end it, and I plan the ending to be on Shinaris winner, and then I think that's a perfect segue into part 2 of that. We'd have to discuss a bit more, but I think we could reboot the original B team.
Okay, cool.
Maybe we need RHS, maybe not. That might be something we discuss. I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to redo the mod list once I'm able to figure out if we want to run a Malden Overrun separate server, or at least if I can get it set up to where I can just do all of our testing and running on that secondary server. Because we don't really ever get more than like 10, maybe 12 people on that. It's not going to be a thing where we have 30 players, so that would be pretty easy to run the side server. And that means we could then pull all of that zombie and demons and all that stuff off of our mod list and free up space for like RHS if we wanted to, or something like that. Not mid-list mod list. Okay. Wow, we have 3 pages worth of notes from this. I think this is a really successful meeting, so I'd like to put a pin in this one. Unless anyone has anything that's like super urgent that needs to be brought up now. I want to say big thanks, Cam, Gus, Jack, Ray, Doreen, Bacon, thanks for coming in. Soul, thanks for stopping in earlier, and everyone else who watches this after the fact. Feel free to add to this list. Maybe just put it in a different color, like maybe blue, that you added it later, so that we can see what was added later. And yeah, I'm gonna post this. What I'll do actually is make a thread in the battle staff chat, and I'll just make a thread called August 21st meeting or whatever, and I'll put this and the recording once I upload it to YouTube, and this will stay within the battle staff for now. I'm thinking about maybe at some point finding a way to involve the patrons more, sort of like how I have with Tier 1. I mean, Doreen, you're already part of the community anyway, and I appreciate the support, but like, if we were to ever get other Tier 1 folks who aren't necessarily helping to run things, like find a way to maybe get them or somebody else, at least some manner of this information out to them, to make them feel like they have a little more a heads up of what's coming down the pipe. But because we're talking about some admin issues as well, I don't want to just release this straight to them, because that would not be fair to if we talk about individuals within the meeting. So anyway, that was a really good meeting, and I appreciate you guys coming down, taking time out of your Sunday to talk about this. I'm gonna go up and have some lunch, but let me know if there's anything else that you guys need. I could take DMs, or you can of course tag me in the Valstaff chat.
All right.
Hey, Ray, can you hang for a second afterwards?
How long is this second gonna take?
Less than 5.
Okay, yeah, sure.